conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I think the current members are aware that we have 2 new members, one of whom is here tonight, and the other one will join us starting in January. So Brian and Emily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their terms start in January, right?
Correct.
So, okay.
Yes.
All right. So I thought we should start with just some introductions. Okay, I'll start. I'm Frank Petroselli. I'm the chair of the EAC here in South Whitehall Township resident for 23 years now. So just have an engineering background and just have an interest in environmental issues, and so glad to be able to serve on this council and hopefully help the township develop some more sustainable practices going forward. We have a interested resident here tonight, so.
My name is Heath Potter. I've recently moved to the area. I too have a similar background. I was an environmental consultant on the remediation side, and I came to see what this organization is all about. Just curiosity. Thank you.
Derek Pinkham, I'm a geologist. I do environmental remediation as well. Currently, I'm with the Navy, overseeing some of their cleanups. I lived in the township for 6 years. I lived in Upper Mac for about 20 before. So again, I like Frank, just trying to steer the township in some ways that hopefully will help the future.
Yeah, so I'm Brian Gresdes. I'm happy to join you guys here. My background's also in engineering. I'm a mechanical engineer. I work for Kohler Company, so very interested both in the practical aspects of conservation and approaching design and all projects with an eye towards conservation. Really is what I'm looking for. So happy to be here and looking forward to getting started.
My name is Marie North. I am a certified sustainable building advisor, also a member of Green Building United, the Lehigh Valley community. Been a resident here for 38 years, and we built a sustainable home back in 2008. So I've been interested in sustainability for a long time. And I was with the Green Advisory Council. That's what we had previous to this. So I'm just continuing on with the EAC, and like Derek and Frank said, hoping we're going to make a good difference, do good things for the township.
I'm Chris Stroller. I'm the long range planner here at the township. I'm the staff liaison for the EAC. I've been in the township a little over 3 years now. My background before that, I worked in conservation. Sarah, do you want to go ahead?
Hi, I'm Sarah Seipel. I live in the township now for 22 years, and I am active in the community with my 2 kids. I'm active in both of their schools. I really enjoy being part of this organization because I feel like I'm able to help and do something and make a difference. And these guys are wonderful to work with, and we're just so happy that you guys are here with us. And I think you're really gonna have a great time being part of our group. So thank you so much.
Right. And Brian, for your benefit, there's one other member who wasn't able to attend tonight, Mark, so we'll get to meet him next month.
I don't know if our other person online wants to.
Ask?
Yeah, Elizabeth Kay, would you like to introduce yourself? If not, that's okay. I think we can probably move on.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next order of business, which is the meeting minutes from the October meeting. Hopefully everybody had a chance to review those, and I'll make a motion to accept those meeting minutes, seconded by Marie. Okay, so those meeting minutes are now into the official record. Next item for discussion is Chris and I and Herb Bender had a very productive meeting with some representatives from Mascaro and Total Recycle on the 17th. And couple orders of business there. One was we wanted to solicit their help in putting together a handout or a flyer we could use at the upcoming tree lighting ceremony where we're going to have 2 tables. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And they were very receptive to that and jumped right on it and had a draft to us, well, Chris, within the day. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you know,
they're
it was
pretty
really
quick.
impressive. So the flyer that we're going to hand out, as we talked about in the last meeting, is going to be related to recycling specific to holiday items. And so you should have a copy of the latest version is the single page. So it says best practices for holiday recycling on both sides. We had changed it from the original title that they had proposed, just because I thought it was a little misleading that, you know, if you looked at it, it seemed like you could just, if you just looked at the front side, it seemed like you could just recycle anything that was on the front side, which is not the case. So this one says, see reverse side for recycling instructions, and there on the reverse side, it's the same items, but it gives a little bit more detail about how you can recycle them, because not everything that they're saying is recyclable can go in the toter. So some of it you have to take some extra steps if you want to try to recycle them. So so we'll be handing these out at the one table we have at the tree lighting ceremony. They also have they're going to provide flyers similar to what's behind you, Derek, just to highlight the flexible packaging recycling that they do. We had a very interesting discussion with Jeff from Total Recycle, how they're a private company, so they don't have stockholders they have to satisfy. So they have decided that they're going to make, you know, a real effort to try and recycle some things that other recyclers, including Waste Management, our previous hauler, would not recycle because the larger firms think it's not profitable enough to do that. So the flexible packaging is a great example of that, where, you know, most, if you think back to when we had Waste Management as our hauler, all of that stuff would have gone in the trash. None of it would have been able to be put in the recycling toter. So and we talked about that's a, you know, pretty significant difference versus what most haulers in the area do. I think it's an opportunity that we can highlight to our residents because they're getting some additional recycling benefit from our current hauler that many of them probably aren't aware of. And, you know, as an outgrowth of that discussion, Jeff also was very eager to have us come tour the facility. You know, it was obviously there's a lot of pride there that they're doing some things that are really, you know, going above and beyond from a recycling standpoint. He made it sound as if, I mean, you know, if it's recyclable and it comes into the facility, they find a home for it. So, you know, it sounds like he spends a lot of his time finding, you know, a home for these plastics in particular that other haulers would just throw into the, you know, into the landfill. So, but having said that, I mean, one of the questions I had for him was, they still reject, he said, high teens percentage of what comes into their facility as recyclable. So that's typically resident error, right? I mean, things being put in the recycling toter that shouldn't be there. And so, you know, that's again an education opportunity we have for our residents to help improve that figure. So they seem pretty happy with the diligence of South Whitehall Township residents in adhering to the recycling guidelines, but there's still obviously, you know, significant room for improvement there. So again, another education opportunity, I think, for our residents that we can work on as a committee. And he said, you know, they take all of number 1 through number 7 plastics. He said if it's a container, they'll find a home for it. They'll find a recycling home for it. So, you know, it sounds like they really do go above and beyond. And so to prove that to us. They want us to come visit, right? And he said
Very happy.
we could have multiple visits. One thing that I thought of, Chris, is that, after we visit as our EAC, it might be worth opening this up to some of the other area
That's a great
EACs,
idea.
and, as, as an event for this EAC network forum, that I think that would be, if we hosted a tour at this recycling facility, I think that would be of interest to a lot of the area EACs. It might be a good way for us to, start engaging with those other groups.
I think it's a wonderful idea. And I'm sure several other municipalities that have EACs probably also have Mascaro as their
Yeah,
hauler,
yeah.
and and even those that don't,
Yeah.
are welcome to come and see.
So what we agreed to is that the first visit would just be our committee, right? And a few township staff. He said, they can do up to, 10, 20
Yeah.
pretty easily. They're open 24 hours a day, so, he was open to doing it whenever. Probably best if we could arrange people's schedules to do it during the day, if we could. It's in Birdsboro, so it's a bit of a trip. But he said, we should plan on a 2-hour tour. Typically they do about an hour tour and then, Q&A. So he also was willing to open it up to residents, so that could be something we offer to residents as a follow-up. And I think that's something where we could have, depending on the resident interest, maybe have 1 or 2 EAC members go with a resident group on the tour, just to kind of, establish that EAC presence as the group that's really sponsoring this, if you will. So I think there's an opportunity for several visits here. But first, we want to try to get a date on the calendar where we could have the EAC visit.
And just to follow up on that, that fits in with Sarah's question here on engagement with local schools. I think he said that they definitely do school groups, I believe, and that could be something down the line. But I think that it sounded like there's a lot of value in just having the committee, the EAC, go first, because he said he factors in a lot of time for questions, and we said this group would probably have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Maria, I'm kind of looking to you.
Uh-oh.
But he seemed happy to, to do that. To
Yeah, and I
spend
think
time
we
with
want
us
to have the luxury of getting our questions answered, right? So if we go with a larger group, then, there's the risk that other people's questions take up the time and we don't really get good answers to our questions. So I think going as this group initially makes the most sense. So are people able to go during the day, or would it have to be an evening for some folks? And what's everybody's schedule flexibility look like?
It depends on the day, but I can take off.
Okay.
Depends on the day. I can do day.
Okay. I can certainly do day.
Yeah, I work at home, so it just really depends on the day.
Okay, I mean, we're gonna schedule this, a month in advance or something, so, we're
It
not
gives
gonna-
us a window if it's going to be an evening thing. I mean, I think day would certainly be preferred by township staff as well.
Yeah,
And it sounds like Sarah's good with day as well. So if it's okay with everybody, what I can do is coordinate with Jeff and his team and just say, what kind of schedules are you looking at after the new year? But it seemed like they were pretty open, so
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a day of the week that works out better for everybody. I mean, we could do it on the same day as the meeting. It gives us something to talk about, or I don't know.
What people think.
I don't have a preference. I mean, I could take off any day.
It depends for me on the Tuesday, okay, on which Tuesday that would be chosen. Tuesdays. is
So
kind of-
Tuesdays are probably not
Kind
good.
of iffy for
Yeah.
me, and then Fridays are definitely, that's definitely a challenge.
Okay.
I know ahead of time, if that's what they want, I know ahead of time, I can play with that, if that kind of works for everyone else.
How does everybody feel about a Monday? I mean, I would love the opportunity to get out of the office on a Monday and go. And I think if we can coordinate it, because usually Mondays from a meeting perspective are a little bit easier because I know we have this board and so forth. So even if we could coordinate it for like our Monday, January meeting,
Okay.
potentially depending, well, actually, scratch that. I think I would rather not have that be a big part of the agenda in January, because I'd like to go through the work plan and all of that kind of stuff. But I'll throw out some dates to Jeff's team.
Why don't we, how if we try for a morning meeting and then I'll buy people lunch?
There you go. Excellent. Thank you, Frank.
Monday's good. And the other thing is how, are we all gonna drive separately?
We should carpool, but I mean, it'd be more than one
Yeah,
car.
we'll probably we could probably get like a few of us in one car, but yeah, I don't know how.
I think we could,
3 cars down there.
we could probably plan, to meet here
Mhm.
and then carpool from here,
Mhm.
2 or 3 cars, whatever we need.
Okay.
So we probably have to leave here, 9-ish, I would think.
Mhm.
Hopefully get there around 10 or a little bit before, and then from 10 to 12, have lunch on the way back, and then be back here by 2. So figured people would be, 9 to 2 would be the time frame if we do that. So Chris, then, we'll suggest a 10 to 12 tour.
Mhm. Yeah. Cool. I will reach out, see what they have available, and I'll report back.
I did have a question on the flyer here. So is this only being handed out at the tree lighting, or is it planned to get mailed out somewhere?
So I have a box of, and for, I actually don't know if they gave us extra flyers on the recyclable flexible packaging. That might be in the existing flyer. I think they just, okay.
It is.
Yeah, so we don't have specific ones for that.
We just got a new one last week.
Yep. For
As a
2020
resident, they
For
hand you, okay.
2026, yep.
We only have these paper ones, and I have a box of maybe a couple hundred. So the plan was to distribute them at the event, and then I kind of figured keep the rest. Only because mailing costs for something like this, I think the idea is to, but what I can do is put them out here with the other flyers that we have right here in the lobby, and then I'm gonna put this up on the website. And
Any chance this could be like on the homepage?
that's what I'm wondering. Is there something? I'd love to have a little bit more to it. If it's either like a larger recycling type of message, or if it's a larger EAC message, that could be kind of neat, and that could maybe get a little bit more traction than just.
Well, I mean, just on the homepage, just the Christmas
yeah.
stuff,
Oh, right, that's what I
to
did.
me is
Yeah.
like simple, keep it limited,
Yeah.
Yeah,
not asking for too much.
I'll coordinate with some other departments and see what other kind of like, because we want to try to keep it like on a theme so that someone will look at it and be like, oh, what's happening in like, holiday season, and we'll have
Right.
this like right
Yeah.
there with that. Yeah, I
Okay,
think it's
cool.
good. Yeah.
Is there an opportunity to ask like the schools to post it as well?
Sure. Sarah's pretty good with the schools.
It's all with the rules for recycling on Christmas morning, that would be.
Yeah, and that, I think,
That's going to
it's
wreck.
definitely the audience
In your
too.
sock.
But Dad, this is recycling. You can't put it in there. Evil genius.
I think, Sarah, would that be okay if you and I can kind of coordinate with school contacts and see if we can get this out with the schools?
I would love that. Yeah, no problem. In
Yeah,
fact,
and these are just paper, so I have the PDF now, so we can just send it to them and, yeah, whatever they
I mean,
need.
honestly, to save time, just send me the PDF and I can just get working on it.
Cool. Elizabeth K has a question. I don't know if you guys can see that. Best method of recycle styrofoam packing peanuts. One is not clear on the screen. Let's see. I can zoom into that part. That's I'm so glad they addressed that, because I've had the same question. Frank, you might have even brought that up.
That was on our list, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so they're not
Okay.
recyclable.
They're not recyclable.
In the toter, so.
They're reusable.
They're
They are
yeah,
reusable.
That's the first one.
And if I can make a comment on that, the UPS store down at Crest Plaza, that gentleman and his family, they love getting that type of thing.
Really?
They will accept peanuts, they will accept even boxes if you don't know what to do with your boxes. Say you get a shipment in, I realize we can recycle the cardboard. But if it's a decent box, the only thing I would ask, and I can't believe people do this, I take peanuts down there to him, and he looked in the box and he goes, oh, they're clean. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna bring you dirty stuff. I can't believe that people do that. Like, you know.
Because they just dump them into a new one and reuse them.
Right, you know, and they're gonna send it out with packaging, so they don't wanna put dirty peanuts, and I don't know, maybe he just throws those out, I don't know. But he will also accept those, what do you call them, it's not the bubble wrap, the air pillows. Clean air pillows, he will accept, yeah. You know, and I try to package it nicely in a box, take it down to them, they're very appreciative of it.
Yes, I will coordinate with Mascaro's team on the tour. Sarah and I will talk to the schools. I'll get this up on the website.
Chris, does this online program allow for you to put files in chat? Like, can you put that PDF in chat?
Yes. I only have it with I'd have to go through like my email and everything like that.
Okay. never
Yeah,
mind.
I mean, I'll just send it to Sarah after this. Yeah, because I have it here in the whole packet.
Yeah, no, I got a hard copy, I got the link.
Yeah.
I was just thinking more to answer Elizabeth's question, I guess.
Oh, yes, and just, you know, for our benefit of new members and folks online, everything with the EAC is always posted, usually always posted the Friday before, as far as the packet and the agenda, and so forth.
And real quick, I'm sorry, we have extra of these to hand out at the tree lighting ceremony?
I probably have about 200, 300. I should, yeah.
That's perfect.
And I mean, we can make more too, if you guys think we need more. I know Herb said it's a pretty big event, but I also don't want these just kind of.
Yeah, he was saying, I don't know, he was probably like 1,000, which I thought was way too many.
I think they do it by counting cars and then estimating a couple people per car. So I don't know if it's that high, but yeah, depends on the weather. too.
One per family, so.
Yeah.
Could we also have because it's gonna be, as Frank said, one side and the other side, correct? For holiday. Okay, could we have a few of these if we are, you know, if we're always seeing our neighbors?
Sure. I can,
Hand it to a
if
neighbor.
you want, I can print probably a couple hundred more of these. You guys do with them what you want, because I won't be at the event.
Okay.
I just have the ones that they dropped off, and then whatever's left,
Mhm.
do with them what you please, and I'll put some extras out here.
Yeah, because I could take a few for my
Yeah.
neighbors.
I know I'm gonna be taking some for, at Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be giving to family members at Thanksgiving.
All right.
Now, it's not Mascara specific, but a lot of these things this is just good advice.
It's good advice. It's great stuff. Thank you, Frank, for that meeting.
Yeah, I want to just add, thank you, Frank. I mean, you were fantastic there with Mascaro. They were great. Just open everything we wanted to say, and yeah, thank you for leading that discussion.
No, it was a great meeting, and they're, you know, I was very happy to see how receptive they were, so. Good, win-win. So,
Mhm.
we did also talk about composting a little bit, and, you know, the economics just don't work for composting, at least on a large scale, according to them, so that's not something they're looking at in the foreseeable future. So
And
just
this
wanted
is
to-
household composting, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Now, what do they do with the green waste they pick up?
What did they do with the green waste that they pick up here? It goes to First Regional Compost Facility. So we still have like the yard waste program, and all that Mascaro's responsibility is picking it up and taking it to First Regional, which is what we've always done as far as yard waste. Now, that's the same thing here. Anything that's dropped off at this facility goes in those dumpsters, and that Mascaro picks up and takes to First Regional. I think I know Herb and I have been talking a lot about new opportunities for yard waste facilities and new opportunities for how we handle yard waste. I think we talked about it a little bit during the last contract. And I think especially our last conversation with the resident that joined, she was just a wealth of knowledge. Herb and I talked a lot after that. So we're still looking at, right now we're in this contract, but we're still looking at what can we do potentially differently. But I think to your point, as far as Mascaro picking it up and taking it to their
Yeah.
Lancaster County
Right.
facility, that's probably never going to pencil out. But if there was something the township could do as far as better yard waste and composting.
Yeah, I mean, even food waste, I mean, if people were willing to bring it to a central location, that could be composted, I think.
Yes.
And,
Yeah,
but that would require the township to,
food
create a
waste,
facility to do that.
yeah, food waste will be tough.
Yeah.
But I think right now, if you take something to First Regional Compost, you pay a fee to drop it off. So that's all factored in. And I think that's something that we're very much interested in to see if there's opportunities to expand the yard waste facility into something like composting. Has, obviously green benefits. We're not picking up everything and hauling it over. And then what we can do with that and actually reusing it and kind of working with the township. And then there's certainly an economic benefit as well. So there's a lot of interest there. And I think we'll be hopefully tapping our friend who was at the last meeting for maybe some of her guidance too.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
Does the leaf waste go through the same stream? Is it all one?
Leaves go to, we actually, I don't know if we sell them or it might be even out in the transportation costs. They go to a mushroom farmer who actually uses them as compost there. So that's where all like the leaves go, but everything else, all the other grass clippings and everything go to the compost facility. And leaves are easier to separate because we pick them up. That could be included as well.
I was thinking if there was an opportunity to use it within the township, like leaf mulch is really effective
Mhm.
for wintering.
Yeah.
So like it could be something just to reduce landscaping costs.
We've done some in-house. Public Works has done some of that with the leaves and then has reused that in some of the parks. It's just we're kind of at that point where scale would be like we get way too many leaves that we can handle with that, and we need bigger equipment. But I know I've toured a facility around the same size as our township, their compost facility. I know Herb and Allie, who you guys know, were very interested in maybe going to do that and start to look at, what it would take to take something like this on.
The other thing that we could do, Chris, because like I said, I was so inspired by David. Mascaro put this together?
Mhm.
Wow, that's really good.
I mean, it was our list, right? I
Right.
mean, So,
It's-
but, yeah.
It's really, it's eye-catching, it's good. So maybe in the fall, what we do is have something, again, on the homepage or on our website, about the things you can do with leaves.
Mm.
That should be a primary thing out there, because I know from what Herb said, that's a real operation to collect those leaves. It is huge. And I don't know what the cost is involved with that, but I that's what I figured. So, if we can encourage, the type of thing Brian's talking about, I do it, there are pros and cons, you have to know how to do it correctly, but it's not rocket science.
Mhm.
So, maybe doing something like that in the fall.
Yeah. It would be great to have some information on that and like something, that we could even
Right.
give to a homeowner. I know the same township that I toured that has a compost facility, they have some guidance in like a pamphlet that they hand out for like something like a rain garden maintenance. I don't know if it's actually technically a rain garden, but things like that. And that's always helpful. And they said they developed that because they were trying to push a couple of environmental initiatives, but people didn't know how to do it. So I'd love to do that, but I don't have the technical
I don't
ability
know how
to.
do it, yeah. So it's a thought.
Anything else on this topic or we'll move on?
No, I just want to make a quick comment for visitors here. We got us rolling on the recycling here at our last meeting, and it was a long discussion, was we Frank and I and Mark toured Revolution Recovery. And I don't know if you're familiar with them in Allentown. They do building waste and construction materials. They recycle those down at their facility. And so the three of us were able to go on a tour. Green Building United put that together, and it was a very well-received tour, and we all learned a lot. And so when we came back to our October meeting, Chris had an agenda, but
I learned so much, and I told some family members about it who were actually doing some work at their house.
so we did, that's what got us on a roll, and then it came to holiday recycling, and one thing led to the other. So it was a very, very informative tour. It was a great tour.
And I think it'll be interesting to compare and contrast total recycle versus Revolution Recycle, because I think we're going to see a very high level of automation with total recycle.
Right.
They have optical scanners, they,
He was-
separators, and I mean, so it's more, I think it's going to be more similar to other waste processing facilities I've seen where there's they don't really have the Revolution
It's good.
recovery. I mean, it's very manual there.
Right, it's very manual work. It's,
Yeah.
construction materials, demolition materials, it becomes very manual.
I sensed a tinge of embarrassment with the video that I think Marie, you sent around to everybody. Well, I thought it was a great video as well, and I brought it up, and he said, he said that video is old now.
Oh,
He
is
said
it?
that their process is so much more automated now. Yeah, he was excited to kind of show us.
Basically, they want to see waste go through the facility without touching human hands. right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what their goal is. So it'll be interesting to see, how sophisticated that operation is. Okay, next item is, we've mentioned this a couple times, is there's the tree and bridge lighting holiday event on December 6th, 5:30 to 7:30. We have agreed to obviously have our own table there where we'll have some information on the EAC. We'll have some more of these, right, like EAC.
Yeah, whatever you guys want to have there, let's get a list together and I'll get that organized and sent down to Public Works. So I have that one that we had from the last event. The only other poster that I remember we had was the referendum one. I don't think we want that.
We don't need that. But we had a flyer that was EAC related. With
Yes,
sort of the
I still
description
have
of
lots of
EAC, So
those.
we should
Yes.
kind of have those available.
Yeah,
And
so
then
as,
obviously the two recycling flyers.
so as far as posters, we'll have the EAC poster, the flexible packaging, the holiday recycling, that's only one-sided, obviously. And then you can get into it then, but after, behind Heath, behind Heath, Mike Elias updated the slides for the stormwater presentation. So we can have those displayed. And if there's anything else you want poster-wise, I believe Mike was actually ordering more easels today.
I think that'll be enough. I mean, just to clarify, we're going to be responsible for just going through these slides with anybody who's interested on stormwater management. We're going to we'll be handing out cotton balls, I guess, to children who, there's going to be sort of an activity next to our tent that will be managed by someone else, but we have to give them the cotton ball that they need to start the activity.
You're luring them in to
Yeah.
teach them about the environment. So the way Herb kind of ran through it, the way you'll have two tables for the EAC and they'll have everything set up before you get down there. So it's not going to be like last time where we're setting things up. One will be kind of more stormwater focused. The other will be recycling, EAC in general, whatever you want there. And then they'll provide as part of that, people will sort of come into you, get the cotton balls. The kids will go over to a designated area and they'll have a snowball fight. And then with these cotton balls, and then they take those and they go to another table and they do a craft.
Right.
But the idea is that while the kids are doing that, all the parents can be there kind of in front of your tables and be talking to you about stormwater or recycling or any other EAC topic. So it sounded like that's going to be early, and to run through the schedule, the actual like countdown to the lighting is around 6. Santa arrives at 5:45. So the event opens at 5:30, but it sounded like people get there pretty early. So
Yeah, I would
we
suggest if people are available, get there by 5. So I'll probably plan to be there maybe 4:45, something like that.
Same, I can be there then.
Yeah, and if you guys are going early, you could probably come down here into like the front entrance of the park. I think this is where like more of the overflow is. And I will have all the materials down with Public Works, who will just bring everything down, and they'll probably have it set up in that area. And they'll have the tables set up and however you want to decorate them and put the easels up and so forth. Some of the Public Works people might be there early, help with the stormwater stuff and everything. Mike also updated these trifold pamphlets on stormwater, so you can hand these out as well. That's here, Sarah. So we have a couple hundred of these as well. There's lots of handouts. And what I'll do is I will email everybody Herb's number. So if there's questions, they have the event, give him a call.
He'll be there, but he'll be obviously circulating to just make sure things get set up.
And don't blow Mike's cover, because Mike is Santa.
The nursery, like right across from the middle school, like has a big sign that said like salt available now. I was like, we should start harassing them.
Oh, wow.
Or just be like give a pamphlet with each bag you bought.
Yeah.
Right, that's a good idea. I love this. Who put this together?
Mike Elias, and I told him that, the EAC already loves him so much, and now he's doing all this great stuff, and you guys just love him more.
I love it. This is really nice.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. Yeah, he updated that, and then the presentation, including some of the de-icing suggestions, and yeah, it's excellent.
Well, here's my question. I know Herbert said when they do the plowing and when they take the trucks around and they do the salting, that's not always a township employee. Is that correct? Do they hire?
No, it's always
people?
it's always a township employee.
Oh, okay, I thought they hired some outside people depending on the storm. I could be wrong, but what I noticed on our street, I don't know how I don't know, like, if they're spreading salt and all of a sudden it appears as though the truck stops for whatever reason,
Oh.
and a ton of salt fell out.
Mhm.
On the street. I mean, gee, I should have scooped it up, put it in a bucket, and you know what I mean? You could reuse it, but it was a lot of salt.
And sometimes it there's a bump and it
Yeah.
comes out more, and it doesn't spread as
It
easily.
doesn't spread. Just, and Herb probably knows this, that's why I was wondering.
I will say we had the speaker from the Little Lehigh Watershed Stewards,
Mhm.
and they talked about their salt snapshot and what they're doing in this vein. So I've been participating pretty in-depthly, following up with that, because we mentioned that we would like to get some more educational materials for what residents can do, and actually our own kind of, when I asked for it, I was looking for almost exactly like this, and our own Public Works Department kind of came up with it. But I've been participating with they have a Pennsylvania-wide group who is working on not just the education piece, but like policy level type of items. So I've been kind of paying attention to that, and we're seeing how that fits with our operations. And I think the biggest thing that we'll need to understand is getting a good baseline for our operations right now, so that we have something to look at and see how any suggestions of salt reduction in like general snow management can be incorporated. But it's exciting. I mean, they have the right information there. I think the challenge is getting that information distributed to the people that it needs to be distributed. They've had a lot of successes, I think, as Paul mentioned, who spoke to us in private sector, where they have the contracted companies who come in and they see it's all about the bottom line for them. So there's a lot of things they're doing, whether it's different practices, more brining. They've had a lot of success as well with very accurate weather predictions, so that they're looking at times that they need to go out and when to treat and how to treat, so that they are able to just use a little bit of brine and still have the effect of a lot of salt.
Yes, I guess we would have to be careful about it. It would be interesting to hear how many residents actually say something to us when we hand them these. Well, I've seen all this salt dumped on our street. Well, and you're shaking your head. Have you seen it? I have seen it often. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I think there's a willingness to look at what we're doing operationally. I think my initial concern was kind of the opposite side of, if there's a township operational change, what would the backlash be from the residents to that, and how are we responding to that? And I think something like this is a kind of slow step into getting people to have it more top of mind, to think about not only the benefits of it, but what people are doing on their own, and then that helps ease sort of any changes that people might see operationally.
Yeah, the trick is you want to, be more efficient, but you don't want the effectiveness to be compromised.
Exactly.
Right.
And we will hear about it if the
Yes.
effectiveness
Yes, right, exactly. Okay, so it sounds like everyone here is available then for that. Mark said he was available. Sarah, you said you're available, right?
I don't know if I am. Okay.
So, Chris, can you pull that map back up? So we're looking like the normal parking lot, like where like across the street is the dam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you guys should be good to go there. I think this other one back where it, that's like the old yard waste facility. I think that's like the overflow parking. I think they opened that up, and there's actually a road to get down in there. But I think if you guys are getting there before 5, go down there. And I'll confirm with Herb, and I'll make sure that he's, communicating if anything changes on that.
Okay, and where will the tables be? Where's that coming?
I'll see if I can get a copy of that. I know Lynn Matula had the vendor layout. I'll see if I can get a copy and send it to you guys ahead of time, and try to ask for that tomorrow.
He said ours would be basically just as people come in, right?
And that's what I was wondering, did he mean come in from this way?
I don't
Correct,
know.
yes,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was very proud that we were at a prominent position. So-
Yeah, yeah. And the good news is you don't need to bring anything, so it'll all be there. Is there anything else material-wise? So we will have the these stormwater pamphlets, and the holiday recycling pages. I will get a box of the regular Mascaro ones that have the flexible packaging in there. The EAC flyer, which is kind of like the overview of the EAC. Is there anything else that I missed that you wanted to have as a handout?
By stormwater handout, you mean that salt one, right?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Understanding salt's related to stormwater, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Sorry.
But people should familiarize themselves with the content on these slides, because we'll be asked to.
Yeah, and if you want, I mean, this is
close.
more what I know, so if you guys want to maybe defer to me, I'm more than welcome to.
Great.
I mean, I could discuss geochemistry with anyone, not with anyone, but
Okay.
probably master's level, I'd be good with.
It sounds like there'll be 4 of us at least there, 5 we can
Yeah,
make it. And, and I think it's short enough that hopefully everybody can stay for the whole time.
Yeah.
We'll say the long range forecast is for highs in the 30s.
Okay.
So dress warmly.
Herb said he has 2 fire pits for you, right?
There will be a fire pit near us. I think he also said we're near the s'more station. So.
I'll have to give my wife her heated vest present early so I can.
There you
Like, what an early present?
And if, traffic is slow, we can always burn flyers for work.
Yeah, I don't want to see any flyers in the creek or anything like that.
Or in the fire pit.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. We also got a bunch of recycling stickers. So I was unaware. I thought it was a requirement for residents to come into the township to register for these. But that's just because we don't distribute them. So you guys can distribute these. These are for your toters.
Okay.
Genius. I had I printed out something years ago because my kids, like, blue is trash, which makes no sense whatsoever.
So, and I always thought it was like a registration thing because people come in all the time for them. So we have a lot more and you guys can distribute these. And if someone wants to put them on their car or something like that.
But that's to put on the toter.
It's to put on the toter, yeah. Yeah.
But now they're very specific about where they want stuff.
I don't know. I would follow whatever guidance Mascaro.
Yeah, that's what they told,
Okay.
So they could.
Right now I have nothing, so that's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I got a new recycling toter about a year ago and it already had the sticker on it when they.
I think the new ones do, yeah. Yeah.
Didn't, but it was like right before they switched.
Okay.
Is it on the top frame? Because they said. like,
Yeah, I
looking
think
from
it's on the.
Truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, very good. I'll have to see
So
if we
we'll
have
have-
a symbol on ours, but I like the idea.
Mhm.
Cool.
Anything
So
else?
Just
Go
to
ahead,
send, we're planning on then meeting at that upper parking lot around 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll be there by 4:45, so.
Okay, 4:45 works for me too, Frank. That's fine. I'm
right.
gonna bring some poinsettias and stuff to make the table look nice, some candy, and I'm throwing around bringing a big gator, those huge containers of hot chocolate. Might be yummy.
You might, I'll check with Lynn to make sure that there's not stuff right next to, because if you guys are next to the s'more stand, there might be hot chocolate there. Yeah, just to avoid, but I'll connect with her to see, and when I send out the sketch of where all the vendors are, I'll let you guys know what you're nearby and where everything is. Yeah, I don't want to see you have to carry in, all that if it's already gonna be right there.
Fine. We'll just have to drink it all, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're covered there. Okay, next item is, I asked Chris to just give us an update on the vote on the open space referendum, passed resoundingly, which is great to see, but Chris, you want to give us a few of the details?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know if we did meet since it's.
We haven't, no.
Okay. Yes, thank you all for your efforts in promoting the open space referendum. It sounded like at the last event, you guys, talked to a lot of people that didn't know about it. So it was great. We had the referendum passed, 73% of the vote in favor of that. That is an outstanding number. We've looked back through the records of these similar types of referendums in the Lehigh Valley, and we've never seen, I think the highest was close to 70% approval in Williams Township years ago. So it's great to see support for that.
Chris, do you know what the voter turnout was percentage-wise?
As far as percentage of voters, I don't know, but it was I want to say it was maybe like 6,000 or 7,000.
Okay.
So,
because I saw the commissioner races were all like in the 3,500 for each candidate.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say probably 7,000-ish residents, so about 35% of township residents. So,
yeah,
which is pretty good for an off-year election.
yeah,
Yeah, because my husband works at the polls, and that's what he said. He said it was around 30%.
yeah, which I think is, good.
Yeah, for an off year. Yeah,
Mhm.
he was, yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that is good. Yeah, I wish it was higher. So That's great. What that means is that now authorizes the township to move forward with actually passing the ordinance to enact that tax. So that's scheduled for the December, we had the review of it at the last commissioners meeting. I think it's do I have it on here? The December 3rd meeting?
Yeah, I read something.
Or this, it might be the December 3rd,
Yeah.
because it's advertised right now. And then just what that'll do is that'll actually enact the tax into 2026. So we'll start to see that being collected in 2026. In the meantime, what I'm doing, working with our legal team, is establishing, for lack of a better word, kind of a standard operating procedure of how we would go about using that and looking at properties and so forth. I want to say maybe a year or two ago, we kind of looked at something. Did I bring something to this group, or even maybe the GAC, about like a potential checklist of things to look for? I know I created one. I don't remember if we went through it or not. But I have almost like a checklist drafted of things pulled from the landscapes plan and so forth. That would be sort of like a scoring sheet for projects. But what I want to establish is how we're actually going through internal operations of outreach, facilitating projects, and then when they're brought. So the idea is they would be brought to this committee to be scored and to get a formal recommendation to the Board of Commissioners to actually use that funding.
Do you anticipate the process being proactive, where
Proactive,
the
yeah.
township will identify target properties?
Yeah, I know a lot, and we like met with Bushkill Township. I think that's where we're structuring something of exactly how we're going to do that outreach. And we've talked before about updating the official map and how we're going to use the official map to kind of guide that.
Yeah.
So we have the resources identified from the landscapes plan, as far as agricultural resources, natural resources, historic resources, all of that coming together into open space. So we want to put that, have those priorities identified on our township official map, and then identify properties on there, but also identify resource areas on there, so that we can look at things from, if say a land development comes in, it gives us the ability to kind of pause that and respond to that. But it also gives us that guiding list of parcels to look at to be proactive. And it's just however we go through that approach, because I also want to see, typically it's a very objective view when it comes to like a committee like this. So we would say, parcel A, here's what it is and how it's scored, so that there's, you're not seeing exactly what it is and who owns it and everything like that. So I want to try to work that into some of the process. But I think with it being proactive, we're gonna know what we're looking for.
Question, Chris, on this media advisory for immediate release, and maybe I just don't understand, but it says here the ballot measure authorized by ordinance number 1101, but then on the second page, it will adopt ordinance 1106.
Yeah, so
There are two different numbers.
yeah, so the 1101 was the one that actually allowed the township to put the referendum on the ballot, and then
Gotcha.
1106 is what's proposed in December.
Okay.
And then this media advisory was just a press release that I put together. We've sent this out to a couple of newspapers. I don't know if it's really going to get any traction or not, but it's kind of nice if we can get good press. We don't usually get a lot of, proactive good press, and so we're trying to do that more. But yes, we're excited to see this move forward and to get a plan in place. And I think we can start to really look at this and be proactive probably mid next year. The township is including some money in the budget for next year. So ideally, when the tax comes in, we're anticipating, based on rough estimates, around $900,000 to $1 million a year. We're budgeting, I believe, right now like $350,000 even in next year's budget, if this tax comes in, to start to do some preliminary due diligence and outreach and so forth. So that'll kind of help us get moving right away.
Do you plan on hiring somebody to look, or are you gonna do that all in a?
That's a lot of what I'm hoping to do. Yeah. So I'm hoping to get some other things off my plate to kind of.
I'd rather that, like, just was wondering.
No, I think specifically as far as, the targeting what we need, I think what we'll need to consider long term, and this was identified a little bit in the landscapes plan, more so in the park and rec plan, was the more open space and properties that we take on, we need to really consider what that maintenance cost is. So I think that's where we have guidance that was put together in the park and rec plan as far as different tiers of management and how much we should be considering staffing for that. I think the other piece of this is if that's not something done in-house, if it's a little bit outside of maybe like the technical provisions that we have, with certain staff members already, if it's forest stewardship or forest management or something like that, that might be considered as far as like outsourced to get some of those like technical documents prepared.
Have you considered partnering with Nature Conservancy or Wildlands?
Yeah, and I think especially I'm always concerned about, so obviously anything that we look at would be deed restricted, but we've talked about the benefits of having joint protection. So certainly things that either we're taking on or easements that we might be taking on, to have a land trust also included in that, just to have that end entity that has really that's their entire mission to ensure that protection, because obviously things can change 100 years from now in the township. But yeah, that's definitely included, especially from like the stewardship perspective too.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and I think looking at properties that we already have and trying to get ideas of better stewardship plans. That's the other thing with the operating procedure, how we're looking at developing management plans for each parcel we take on, what that looks like, and that'll be something that this committee obviously weighs in on through that process, and looking at, well, what are we protecting it for? Is it going to be ag? Is it going to be natural resources? Is that something that we want to, is it something that we can look at that concept of managed natural areas to try to improve some of the ecological value of these properties?
Did you anticipate, at least initially, the focus will be mostly on ag, or not necessarily?
Ag is ag in the sense of current agricultural properties, certainly, but ag in the sense of like the Lehigh County Agricultural Preservation Program, no, because I think we've talked a little bit about the restrictions of that program, and I think being more flexible in what we want to do. So a good example is the township, one of our only like open space programs that open space properties that we have that isn't a park is the Davis Smith property down off of 22 in Springhouse Road. We just renewed the lease with the farmer on that, and so that's one where we have, it's in ag right now. If it ever gets to the point that the farmer doesn't want to farm it anymore, we can convert that. We could either keep it in ag, try to find a new farmer. We could also look at some level of like passive recreation there because it's so close to a residential area. So I think my concern is if we start to look at just these strictly agricultural easements, I don't think we have a lot of properties that are a best fit for that. There's certainly some that would rank, but it's hard to lock ourselves into that. I think we want to be more flexible in our management. And that's something that this program allows us to do. We're not tied to the funding from those programs. We can kind of determine case for case basis what we want to do with something.
Okay. I guess since we've been talking about the election, the other thing to just quickly mention is that the two incumbent commissioners were not reelected, so we have two new commissioners. So something this committee might want to think about in the new year is maybe doing some engagement to introduce us and what we do to the new commissioners. So that's something we can think about and talk about in January. Chris, before we move on, maybe just take a couple minutes, especially with Brian here, talk about the January meeting and what we need to do in terms of sort of, refreshing our charter, new officers, that sort of thing. So,
Yes, so now we have a full slate. We have all 7 members with Brian and Emily joining. What we typically do at the beginning of the year is we do the election of officers. So we have a chair who is Frank and a vice chair who is Sarah. And those are voted on with you all. And then, so we'll do that in January because those are 1-year terms. We also, in the past, we have, I don't think we did it this year, we did 2 years ago because it was a longer stretch. We developed a work plan, and I think this was really helpful, at least for me. I think it was helpful to you all, and certainly for the Board of Commissioners, to sort of see what direction the EAC was planning to go. Obviously, things come up throughout the year that you're addressing as far as environmental issues or opportunities, but having this work plan that ties back to the ordinance outlines 7 specific duties, and we'll go through this a little bit more in January with you and when Emily's here, as what you're authorized to do. So we've kind of developed individual goals for you guys to work on that fall under those duties. And I think it's a good opportunity to, especially for new members, express some of the things that you're interested in joining this committee for, and start to think about, what are some tasks that this group can work on, that you guys can formulate that are, helping to achieve some of those things that you're interested in coming out to this for. The other piece of that, we also have an annual report. So I'll put that together, and it'll talk about the accomplishments of this year. We'll kind of tie that back to the work plan, but this has been an interesting year. We've done so much more outside of, I think, the work plan, and starting to introduce some new ideas. But
we've only been functioning as a group for less than 18 months, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe. And a lot of it too, there was like the adoption of the landscapes plan was a big piece, and so I'm excited that we have a full group and a full kind of year under your belt to really.
Yeah, I think we'll have a more substantial annual report than we would have this time a year ago, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, and then we provide that work plan to the Board of Commissioners and share that at one of their public meetings, just to kind of give an update. And again, I think it's a great idea, especially with the new commissioners joining, to look at that engagement. We can talk about that. I know as staff, we've been trying to figure out, how to get more engaged with the new commissioners who are joining, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions and so forth.
Yeah, okay, great. Right. Next agenda item, courtesy of the floor.
I don't know if Sarah has something. I have a couple of things.
No, I do too. So go ahead.
Okay. I attended a water cooler talk that Penn State Extension offered. This was recent, data centers and water resources.
I was on it. I thought
Were
it was
you on
fantastic.
it? Wasn't
Yes.
it? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Did you see that the recording is now available?
Yes,
Did you get
yes, I
that?
saw it
Okay.
today.
Yeah, so I was wondering, is there a way that we could possibly
I didn't-
show that?
Yeah, I
if
didn't
we
look
get
at
that
it to
point?
see if it's, I have access to
Yeah.
it, so I can certainly do that, but because I was gonna send it to Dave, forgot to register, so he saw the second half in my office.
Yeah.
But I was gonna see if it's like a tied link. I don't know when you logged off, that the folks from Extension, they mentioned like, hey, this was excellent, and we
Yeah.
would love to
Yes.
offer this more to, general public or anyone who's interested,
It was
because
great.
the research professor, whoever was on there, he asked about the audience at the end.
Yeah.
So
They
it
had
was
a
a mixed
huge
bag.
number.
Yeah.
Oh my word, they had 400 and some people attend.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah, I thought it was I thought the first half was very informative.
Yeah.
I think it was good for general audience.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I thought the second half really, they answered a lot of questions. And I think it can, especially with Extension and the folks there who can kind of cater towards, what might be more of mind in, like Pennsylvania communities. Because you could tell that, he talked a lot very broad scale, national scale, which is interesting, but I think the concern is more at a local level.
Right. And you did mention that as well.
Yeah.
That, local level, it's gonna be a little different as
Yeah,
far as.
yeah.
And basically it was the electricity use and the water use and how some of that is, tell me if I'm wrong, but with all the media hype, it's not providing the best information or the most accurate information as to what you can expect from the data centers. And that's from his research, right, are we stunned? And that's from his research at Virginia Tech. That's where the guy is professor at. And so he was quite good.
Yeah, he was great. And he's like a water resources research analyst or something. Like, I mean, this was definitely his ballpark.
Yeah, it was really good.
Which was interesting.
Yeah, pretty good. I'm glad you saw it because I thought it
Yeah,
was great. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So I will look into that, and
Yeah.
I'll see if I can send it out to everybody.
It might be good for us, for all of us to see it really, I mean, if we're gonna go down that path
Yeah,
eventually
I mean,
at some point, as an EAC,
yeah.
I thought it was well done.
Yeah, it's something we could share more broadly with.
That's what I'm
That's what I'm
thinking,
wondering.
that it's probably gonna come from extension like that and however we disseminate that. So I can ask, administration to see.
We could host an event here and.
Yeah.
Just broadcast.
That I think would be great. There's a
lot
lot
of
of
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah, I mean, what we have now is just a recording of that,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping that extension will continue to do this, because it sounded like they wanted to do something like that, maybe have it
Mhm.
open to a broader audience if they can get that same professor involved. And then if that's something that is happening soon, we can look at, promoting that and say, yeah, this is a good, like a town hall type of thing.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But yeah, I thought the beginning was fantastic
Yeah.
for just, the average person to understand,
Exactly.
what these data centers are, how they, use certain resources and
Yes.
so forth. And yeah, it was focused.
And
It
the
didn't get,
sizes, I had no idea, sorry, but
Yeah.
I had no idea the sizes of these data centers. I mean, it could be this little thing in a closet, up to, and this one surprised me, campus size, college campus size.
Well,
Data
look what's proposed on the Air Products site.
Right,
Yeah,
right, I
that's-
mean, that's big, yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree.
yeah, and that's
So,
like where the market is
Yeah,
going.
it's huge.
That's where like the
Yeah,
pressure is right now.
yeah, and it depends on the college, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
If it's a Penn State
Yeah.
campus, that's a mighty big data center, but yeah, but it was very, very interesting. And then my second one is, I just started getting this information, I don't know, I shouldn't say, it just started, maybe I've been getting it for a year. There's a group called Reimagine Appalachia, and I don't know how I got onto that email list, I can't remember, but, it does affect, some of the stuff they talk about does affect us. I'm thinking Eastern PA, I don't know, but we're still considered part of this Appalachian territory, I guess I would say. And what happened there is Penn State architecture students are going to unveil their redesign projects that convert shuttered coal plants into more sustainable economic development projects that uplift communities. And this is going to be a Zoom on December 11th from 3 to 5. So if I'm free, I'm going to watch it. At first you think, oh, this doesn't really concern me, but I'm surprised at the emails that I'm getting from them where I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that. Yes, it does affect a broader audience or a broader population within the state. So it's not just coal. I mean, they're gung ho on a lot of things. Solar, they're a really good group. I don't know who all's involved, but they're very, very good, very well written, very smart people.
If you wouldn't mind sending me that particular
Yeah.
Zoom link, if I can't attend, I certainly want to send it to some of my former colleagues that are
Mhm.
in the coal region that would
Oh.
be very, very interested in that.
Yeah, they're a good group, so I just wanted to bring it to our attention. Okay, so I'll email that to you. And that's it for me.
Okay. The other thing I'd like to mention, just from, again, related to data centers, is there's been a lot of news stories that I've seen recently around local interest in data centers and referring to Chris's comment about not getting any good press.
Yeah.
The fact that South Whitehall Township is one of the few municipalities who's been proactive in addressing the regulations around data centers has been highlighted in several news stories I've seen, including in the morning call. So kudos to Chris and the township for being proactive in that sense and getting out in front of this issue, because it certainly sounds like something that's headed this way. And as Bree said, I mean, at varying scales. So I think the Air Product site is almost 200 acres. So, and they've been proposing over 1 million square feet of warehouse space, and they're saying now they're looking at a data center or several data centers comparable to that in terms of square footage. So that's that's a very large development. So hats off to Chris and the staff for thinking ahead and creating a series of regulations here that will help us manage that more effectively.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm. It's scary not having something in place, and yeah, it's I feel for my other kind of colleagues in neighboring municipalities who are going through this process, and I think that the biggest challenge too is it's not just a matter of what you can put together, but just the process itself to get it adopted is just so lengthy that and timing is critical for these types of developments. It's a gold rush. It's absolutely a gold rush.
Well, I think the Air Product site I think is in Upper Macungie Township, or
It's in the Air Product site is in Upper.
and they have nothing.
They have it scheduled. They have it scheduled for adoption on December 4th. So as of right now, it's not adopted.
Interesting.
So that's tough.
Yeah.
We shall see what comes of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know Laura McCungie is in the process, and I hope that others are too.
But from the news reports I've seen, it's only maybe 3 municipalities who've actually done something already, including ours. So we're definitely on the leading edge of that. Right. Any other courtesy of the floor? Anybody online want to say anything?
I think it's just Sarah left.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. All right, then I will look forward to seeing everybody on December 6th. Dress warmly. And
Oh, yeah, just a reminder, I'm sorry, because I won't see you on December 6th. Our next meeting is December 15th. If you remember, we moved up the
Right.
December meeting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, shortly after the event.
Okay, and okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second by Marie. And I think that qualifies as our shortest meeting of the year. Sorry.